One day, after the young master came home drunk again, the house was thrown into a commotion. A servant girl ran for medicine. The mute seized her on her way back in the hope of finding out what was going on inside. The girl touched the back of her head with a closed fist, gently let her hand slide down her face, and then held out an index finger. According to the conventions worked out between the servants and the mute, a thumb meant the old master, an index finger the young master, a fist on the back of the head the wife, and rubbing the face caressing. Then the servant girl stuck out her tongue, rolled back her eyes, spread her arms wide, and fell backward. The gesture meant that a person was dying or seriously ill. The mute watched the girl wide-eyed, took a few steps closer to her, then stood still stunned. His heart beat rapidly. Did this mean that his beloved mistress was dead? He clapped his hands together and let out a deep sigh. Then he went to his room and sat there for hours, motionless as if deep in thought. He became restless as the night grew dark. He would alternately stand up and sit down, and at about 2 o'clock he finally went out, heading toward the back of the house. Like a thief, he stole up to the wall beneath the back window of his mistress's room. After hesitating a moment, he jumped over the wall. He peered into the room through a gap between its 2 windows. Then, with a shudder, he stepped back. In the dark, his hands and feet trembled like the leaves of the persimmon tree close behind him. Suddenly, he rushed into the room, kicking the door open. The next moment, the mistress was struggling in his arms, clutching a long silken towel in one hand and shoving his chest with the other. The mute, wide-eyed, uttered, "Oh, oh, oh," all the while trying to pull the towel away. By now, the house was in an uproar. "The family's done for. Of all men, why the mute?" Things like that, they're hard to fathom. Such whispers could be heard from one corner of the house to the other.